Alright, let's dive into something that's been shaking up the football world lately. Imagine this: FIFA, the governing body of global football, almost sold a piece of the World Cup to private investors. Yes, you heard that right. The World Cup, one of the most iconic sporting events on the planet, was nearly turned into a profit-driven venture. But here's the kicker: UEFA, along with other major football confederations, said, "Not on our watch." And personally, I think this is a massive wake-up call for the entire football community. What makes this really interesting is the sheer audacity of the plan. FIFA President Gianni Infantino proposed creating a $20 billion company to manage the World Cup, with private investors owning a stake. Now, from my perspective, this isn't just about money, it's about the soul of the game. Football isn't just a business. It's a global passion, a cultural phenomenon. Selling it off to the highest bidder feels like a betrayal of everything the sport stands for. And what many people don't realize is that this isn't just about the World Cup. It's about setting a precedent. If this had gone through, what's next? The Champions League? Local leagues? This raises a deeper question. Where do we draw the line between commercialization and preserving the integrity of the sport? One thing that immediately stands out is the backlash Infantino faced. UEFA didn't just disagree, they lost confidence in him entirely. And they weren't alone. CONCACAF, the Asian Football Confederation, and even his own senior advisor, Cordeiro, turned against him. Cordeiro, a former Goldman Sachs banker, resigned and urged others to speak out. In my opinion, this shows that even within FIFA, there are people who understand the gravity of what was being proposed. It's not just about the money. It's about the principles. A detail I find fascinating is that the anchor investor was a firm linked to Joshua Kushner, brother of Jared Kushner. This adds a layer of political intrigue that, frankly, football doesn't need. If you take a step back and think about it, this whole saga feels like a symptom of a larger issue. FIFA has been under scrutiny for years over corruption, transparency, and governance. This latest move just adds fuel to the fire. UEFA's statement was blistering, calling out secret schemes on fast-track timescales, cooked up by faceless individuals. What this really suggests is that FIFA's leadership is out of touch with the football family. The fact that 55 UEFA nations agreed to boycott FIFA competitions over this plan is unprecedented. It's a clear message. Enough is enough. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. FIFA's own staff felt deceived by Infantino's lack of transparency. Kevin Lamour, FIFA's chief operating officer, said the project must not continue. This isn't just external criticism. It's an internal revolt. What this really suggests is that Infantino's leadership style is alienating even his closest allies. And that's a huge red flag. Personally, I think this could be the beginning of the end for Infantino's presidency. If he can't regain trust, his days at the top might be numbered. So what does this all mean for the future of football? In my opinion, it's a turning point. The sport is at a crossroads. Do we let it become a fully commercialized product, or do we fight to preserve its essence? UEFA's call for a full review of FIFA's actions is a step in the right direction. But it's not enough. We need systemic change, more transparency, and a leadership that truly represents the interests of the football community. What makes this really interesting is that it's not just about FIFA or UEFA, it's about every fan, every player, every club. Football belongs to us all, and we need to protect it. As I wrap this up, I can't help but wonder, what would the founders of the beautiful game think of all this? Football was never meant to be a commodity. It was meant to unite people, to inspire passion, to create memories. Selling it off to private investors feels like a betrayal of that legacy. So here's my closing thought. If we don't stand up now, who will? The fight for football's soul isn't over. It's just beginning. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below.